Welcome everyone to Trend Talks Life. I am your host, Erin Tomie, and today we're talking to Trend Micro Director of Product Management, Michael Habibi. Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Erin. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm really looking forward to our chat today, and I would love to just start with you sharing a bit about your role here at Trend Micro.
Sure. As you mentioned, I'm a director of product management here, and my responsibility area is with our endpoint security solution. So any of those solutions ranging from enterprise to small, medium business, just working with the product management team, working with the R&D teams that help solve those endpoint security related problems for our customers.
So, Michael, from what I know about product management, and you mentioned it a little bit there in your intro, it is a role where you are collaborating with many cross-functional teams like engineering and marketing, while also having to meet the needs of our customers, of course. How do you balance all of those stakeholders' expectations and needs and wants with the goals that you and your team have?
You know, one of the things that I learned, a couple cliches along the way, is a good product manager is not about finding all the things to say yes to. It's about finding all the right things to say no to, because there's always a lot of things that we can be doing. We're constantly balancing requests, as you said, from our field teams, from our R&D teams. But of course, at the end of the day, what we're really looking to do all together is solve customer problems. And so, of course, as you mentioned, as a product manager and as a product management team, we have a strategy that we're trying to execute against. We form that strategy by looking at the market, talking to customers, doing research, talking with analysts, building up our own understanding of not only what are the important sets of things that we need to be solving today, but where is the market going over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? And at the same time, we're also trying to balance the needs of our engineering teams, right? As with any product, you're going to be, as you're building product, there's going to be opportunities. Hey, we'd like to re-architect some things. We'd like to refactor some things. There's a new technology or new tech stack that we'd like to build into the product. And there's also requests coming from our field, right? Hey, if we had feature A, feature B, feature C, we'd be able to sell that to various customers even better. And so when we're looking at those things, I think at the end of the day, the balance has to be focused on what is going to help our customers the most, and finding a good dividing line between making sure we're solving technical debt along the way, we're innovating along the way, we're incorporating any features that are needed in order to enable the sales force appropriately. But I think ultimately the guiding light has to be our customers, right? And so as long as we all collectively as an organization feel like what we're doing is solving real tangible customer problems, then I think that means we found the right balance.
I do want to talk about customers in a moment, but I want to go back to what you were saying about the market and looking at the market in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Cybersecurity, technology in general, our industries move so quickly, change in a day, everything can change. How do you anticipate, or can you anticipate those major changes in the market where it's going to mean a complete 180 with the product strategy, or do you kind of ignore those and focus on it? How do you work with those major market and industry changes without things going absolutely crazy?
Well, I think sometimes things do go absolutely crazy, and I think that's probably okay too, right? I think, right now, one of the big things that's happening right now in cybersecurity and just in technology in general, right, it is this boom, for lack of a better word, that we're having right now with AI and generative AI. And that is a really good example of something that is clearly having an impact on cybersecurity, right? We're thinking about our customers are thinking about what does AI and generative AI mean for us? We're thinking about how can we be using generative AI to solve customer problems better? But we're also thinking about how do we use generative AI how do we defend against attacks that are using generative AI, or how do we help customers protect their IP from being leaked because of accidental use of generative AI. And so I think that's one really good example. But, to go back to your question, right, which is in general, how do we anticipate? How do we react or respond to these things? I think that's where we kind of collaborate as an organization, right? In terms of anticipating, there's a lot that we can and we do throughout trend, right? We obviously talk with customers. We stay apprised with the technology trends and shifts that are happening. We have a really strong threat research team. So when we think of shifts, a lot of times we think of technology shifts, right? But sometimes there's a shift in how threats are evolving or how attackers are able to, attack our customers. And, that's where like our threat research team and Zero Day Initiative and other parts of our company. And then, of course, we do other things like work with analysts. We go out to conferences. We basically inundate ourselves with everything that we can to learn about the market, to be able to make sure that we are seeing as best as we can where things are headed.
If the audience will forgive me for making a very cheesy product comparison to what you're speaking about, your team is taking all of these data points and consolidating them into one place and then making decisions based off of all those data points. This is what we think is going to happen. This is what we should do. And it certainly makes me think a lot about Vision One, which we don't need to dive into that today. But I did want to point that out, that the whole time you were talking, I was like, all those data points and then make decisions.
That's right. Yeah. I think, you actually raise an interesting point, which I think can kind of further add on to my answer. I was mostly focusing on our people, right? And being able to go out and talk with customers, understand the market, and all the work that we do to do market research. But one of the things that you raised that I actually missed in my answer, which is also part of it, is not only are we using all those data points inside of Vision One to solve customer problems, but it also, that data helps us also further understand the market and understand the types of challenges our customers are facing, where we're seeing attacks, what types of attacks we're seeing, which also allows us to make sure we're making the right investments and the right bets moving forward.
All right. I said we would focus a bit more on the customer aspects of things. So we're going to go back to that. When I was researching for our conversations, I looked up your LinkedIn, of course, and the first thing I saw besides your name was champion for our customers, right below your name. What does that mean to you? Why did you put it on your LinkedIn? What's that mean for Michael Habibi?
So, let me give you the story of my whole life. How much time do I have? When I started at Trend, I was a software engineer. And so, at the time I was focused on programming and, working on very specific tasks that were solving, very specific problems in our product that were end up solving larger customer problems, right? And as I was able to kind of enrich my career further here at Trend, I moved from software engineering to software management to product management. I also worked a little bit in product marketing for a bit before I landed in the role that I have now. And one of the biggest things that I kind of was thinking about, right, is at the end of the day, what are we really trying to do here as individual contributors at Trend Micro, right? And that's helping understand the customer problems and solve the problems for them, right? It's really that simple. So when I was thinking about, what it means to be a champion for our customers, no matter what my role is at any given point, I know one thing is always going to stay the same, right? Which is, I want to always make sure that regardless of what my role is today, what my role is tomorrow, what my role has been in the past couple years, I want to make sure that I'm a champion for those customers that we're looking to solve problems for. And I thought that it's important to kind of talk about it from that frame of reference, because it's always good to make sure you're thinking about it from that perspective. Because I think when you're working day to day, sometimes you can get kind of lost in the weeds, and you're working on very specific tasks that are important to you. And I think it's always good to remember at the end of what we're trying to do is solve customer problems. And then especially as a product manager, if we're not being a champion for our customers, then honestly, quite frankly, we're not being very good product managers. And so I think that really is the goal of a product manager, is the champion for our customers, their problems, bring that into the organization, make sure that the people who in the organization who may not have the opportunity to go into the market, go talk with customers, go meet them, go understand their pain points. You also need to bring that into the organization and make sure that other people are able to learn from those experiences, those conversations that you're having. So I think it's really important to me. I know it's just like a line in LinkedIn, but it's really important to me to kind of always remember that, like, that's what my job here is, right? Regardless of my title, is to be that champion for our customers.
Michael, I think we could talk about this all day, but I'm going to have to cut us off. I really appreciate you coming on Trend Talks Life and talking about all things product management, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Erin. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.